So as you just saw in that unboxing, today I am installing the Fabspeed carbon fiber intake on my 997 Carrera. The kit includes the Y pipe with 2 filters and a carbon fiber intake tube, and then as well as the carbon fiber heat shield. This was one of the items that I was looking at for a while to get this on. Reading over the instructions, it seems pretty straightforward, just removing the stock air box and reconnecting all the sensors back into the new intake and mounting this plate. Includes a couple pieces of hardware, not a whole lot of pieces, so it seems pretty straightforward. The first thing to do is just remove the stock air box, so I'm going to start disconnecting all the hose clamps, the sensor wires and plugs, and start removing any necessary components out of the way. So I'm going to use a 7mm socket, loosen up the clamp right at the throttle body. Disconnect the mass airflow sensor. So we'll take the stock air box out. We're then going to transfer the mass airflow sensor from the factory intake box to the new Y pipe. And this will utilize a T20 security Torx, which has the hole in the middle. And this has 2 Phillips head screws. You're going to want to lube up the O-ring on here just to help it slide into this hole a little better. So then you want to take this supplied bracket, the 2 rubber washers, and the supplied bolt and install it into this hole right there. Then you want to take these 2 threaded rubber inserts from the bottom of the heat shield and just pop them right into these holes. So to get those rubber grommets in is actually very difficult. So what I did is I took the bolt that it came with, threaded it in slightly, and then used an extension and socket and just hammer it in just to get into those 2 spots. And very carefully, the smaller screw with the nylon lock nut you want to put into this bracket here. Once you get that back nylon nut threaded in place, you want to hold it with a 8mm socket, 3mm hex to tighten it down. Now the heat shield is completely secure in place. Now it's time to put the intake in. And then once you have it popped in all the way, you want to make sure that the Y pipe is completely straight. I rotated both these clamps downwards so they're even down here and not at the top. Make sure this back clamp is in the proper location. So next you want to loosen up the air filters because they're pushed all the way in, and this way you can move this clamp over to hold the oil fill. And the same thing with this side. This way you can slide this intake over, this filter over a little bit so it's even. And this clamp, you just wiggle back and forth. Go right here, and it's in the clamp. Now everything's still secure, and that's it. Overall, this install was actually extremely easy. There was a couple steps in the instructions talking about vacuum lines and other sensors that might pertain to the 3.8 engine. But for mine being the 3.6, I only had the mass airflow sensor plug, and that was it. Everything else was pretty straightforward. The most difficult part was probably getting the nylon nut on the back side of that bracket bolt, and then the rubber inserts going into the body of the car for the lower brackets for the heat shield. Overall, nice little touch to the engine bay that I've been wanting to do. I didn't like having the factory airbox anymore. I wanted something to make it pop a little more. So overall, I'm very happy with this install. I hope this video helped you guys out install the Fabspeed intake on your Carrera. If you have any questions or you have any recommendations moving forward with the install, leave a comment below. And if you haven't yet, subscribe to the channel and like the video. I appreciate you guys watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.